Well, hello, beautiful jewels and gems, and welcome to this edition of Ask Chauntel. So today we're going to be talking about, should you allow your in-laws to come over your house? Your husband's inviting them over. You're not ready yet because of coronavirus. Should you allow them? Or should you say, you know what, hubby, I love you and everything, but because of everything going on in the world, they got to stay at home. So should you allow that? Should that be a thing? That's what we're going to be talking about today. Marriage and the coronavirus. Coming up.
Problems in your life and you need advice. All you gotta do is ask Chauntel.
Hi guys.
Hi guys.
My name is Chauntel from askchauntel.com, and these are my two girls. What's your name?
That's Nina.
And what's your name?
And my name is Eden from God from Daddy.
I'm a Christian mom and wife and a relationship, life, and business coach, and I'm here to inspire women to have healthy lives, healthy families, and meaningful businesses and brands. Welcome to our channel. We hope that you love the video. So my name is Chauntel, and I absolutely love doing what I do here. I'm a life coach for women, and I help women in so many different areas of their lives, but mostly focus in their relationships. And those relationships can be their personal, professional, and their romantic relationships. All right. So I'm really excited today to talk to this wife. Okay. So she wrote into Oprah.com, and I thought that her question was so relevant. I was like, we got to do a relationship advice Q&A video on this topic. So to paraphrase your question for you, and if you want to read the whole thing, I will put it in the link in the description box below on askchauntel.com. But what she pretty much says is that her in-laws had been to Europe probably a week. I think it was about a week, or very, very soon around the time that this situation happened. So they had just come back from Europe, and her husband was on the phone with his mom, and he's like, hey, come over. And at that time, like, you know, coronavirus cases in Europe was really high, but we're in the US, so now we're leading. Oh my. It's crazy right now. Like, life is crazy. There's been so much going on in the world, and I haven't been on here to talk about it because I've been dealing with it myself. But you guys have seen me decluttering, and that's been great, because if you're going to be in a space, you need to make sure that it feels good, calm your space. And so I've got decluttering videos, encourage you to be decluttering, getting your life organized and together. It really does help your mental health. Speaking of mental health, back to the situation. So this wife wrote into Oprah.com and is explaining that, you know, her husband is, you know, inviting the in-laws over. She wasn't really comfortable, but she wasn't really sure what to do. So they're ready to get some help because they're kind of having a hard time navigating what's appropriate and what's not appropriate with social distancing concerning coronavirus. Okay. So here are my thoughts. I definitely want you guys, before you guys hear what I have to say, put them in the link in the description box below. All right. So can you tell your husband straight up, no, your mama can't come. Your mama can't come over because of coronavirus. I think that that's kind of like really harsh to just come out and tell your husband that his mom cannot visit because of coronavirus. I do believe that conversations need to be had and some space needs to be established. So if they had just came back from Europe, I definitely think that they shouldn't be coming right over. Like and if, you know, and it may not be Europe, okay? It may just be that they went to a big event. Let's just say in your situation, or in your future situation, which I hope, you know, that you don't end up in this social anxiety awkwardness that this wife ended up in. But just saying, like, it could be Europe, it could be a big event. If they're not taking precautions, and you know that they're not wearing their masks, they're not being responsible, they've been to a place where inflated cases are up, then I think that we have to be weary of just doing something. We have to be wise about how we approach that kind of a situation. I think wisdom is the most important thing, and prayer is our number one. And I really don't think that just coming out and being like, your mom can't come over, is the right way to handle this. But I do think that in her specific situation, what she should have done is said, like, hey babe, they just came back from Europe. I'm not really comfortable with them coming over right now. Maybe in a week, can we try to plan to go visit in like a week or so? I think having ongoing conversations is very important during this time. These are new. This is like a whole new world, whole new set of issues and problems. that we're facing, we've never seen before, we never had to deal with before, and it's going to continue to be so for a while. So instead of ending up with a divorce at the end of coronavirus, I think it's important for us to have these conversations about what we're comfortable with, what we're not comfortable with. They should be ongoing, and I think both parties have to be understanding of each other's feelings and perspectives, and they have to be voiced. And if you communicate what you want and what you need, I think that is what you need to do to really move your relationship, your marriage, into a better situation. If you keep all this stuff in and you end up having all the social anxiety, you end up saying or doing something that you're going to regret, that's a lot worse than just taking a step back and explaining what your needs are and letting him know how you feel. Okay. I also think that we have to be reasonable with what we can ask our husband, and we have to use wisdom, be cautious, and also be responsible. So to answer the question of should she allow her in-laws to come over, I think that the answer to that question is yes, she should. Maybe not right away. I think that there has to be boundaries put into place. And here are my tips for moving forward with social distancing and anxiety in your marriage. Just general big time rules that are practical and that you can apply to your marriage or your relationship going forward, because this is going to be something that we're going to see, conversations that we're going to be having for a while. So number one, you have to be aware of what these people are doing. Are they being wise? And I'm not just talking about in-laws, but anybody that you're hanging out with. What are they doing? And are they being cautious? I also think that it's not possible to really control what other people do. So what I've been doing and what I think is the best thing to do within reason, okay, and I've been doing this within reason, is try to stay at home as much as you can within reason, and use wisdom. And the main thing is to be prayerful. Number two, I think it's so important to create boundaries and explain what you're okay with and not okay with. And just so you guys know, this is coronavirus time, quarantine, and my babies are playing in the background. So if you guys hear them, you guys see them, that's what's happening. Number three, you got to communicate your needs. And we talked about this a lot, at the beginning, but you have to talk about it. You have to talk through it. And that's probably one of the hardest parts about marriage is communication. And I think that this time right now, there's more communication than ever that needs to be had, because there's so many unusual things that we're facing and we're dealing with. Next thing is you got to come up with a compromise that works for both of you. And as you come to that compromise, it's not just a one-day thing. It's something that you will consistently talk about, because things will change as they do change. And we're all going through a lot of stress and anxiety. So my next tip is make sure that you take some time to take care of your own, mental health and stress, and that you also give to your husband so that he knows, and your boyfriend, if you're not married yet, that he knows that you care. And I think that those are things that are very important. If you're not taking the time that you need to be well mentally and physically and spiritually, you cannot give to anyone else. So first you have to take care of you, but you also have to be aware that he's going through something. And I've had moments where I'm just upset for no reason, or I know that it's just because I've been locked up for too long. Like, it does something to your mental, your psyche when you're at home too much. So when those times happen, I try to get out, take a walk, go to the store, do something to kind of get out of this net. But I really do think it's important that we stay home for the importance of our family and the urgency of what's happening in the world, and also for our hospital staff and all the people that are out there, working hard for us. I think that we have to also do our part. And I want to end with relationship tension is happening right now, and it's going to be happening for a while because of all of this social anxiety that people are feeling, and that's being created by coronavirus. And you need to be aware of it, and with that you need to make sure that you're letting people know that you love them and showing them that you love them, and communicating your needs and checking in on your peeps so that they know that, you know, you're there and that you love them. And I think that that really plays a huge role in getting through this crazy time that we're in. It doesn't seem like it's going away anytime soon. So we just got to be there for each other. We got to communicate what our needs are. I don't think you can tell your mother-in-law that she just can't come over and that you can't visit. I mean, we love our family and our friends, and I think that we have to make sure that we're being wise about how we're seeing and interacting with them. But those people that are so close to you, I think it's really hard to stay away because you love them so much, and we don't know how long this is going to be. But at the same time, I think be cautious and use wisdom. If you know that you've been out and around, or if they've been out and around, then you know that you kind of need to move back. And like I said, you can't control what other people do, and you can't control everything. It's just not possible. Even though we try, you cannot. So being prayerful is number one. And I think that God is, or I know that God is willing and he's able to do anything that we could ask or think, and he can get rid of this thing. And I just think that we have to, you know, with the vaccine and just like with his overwhelming love, I think we just have to keep him number one in our relationships, in our marriages, and that's what's going to get us through. Because I heard people talking about, is this thing going to end in divorce or corona babies, right? Like, what are we going to get? Not corona babies, but like babies from, you know, being in quarantine and like the coronavirus being around and us having to be together so much. Or are we going to, like, you know, knock heads because we are together too much? It could go either way. And so to help bless your marriage to be better and for you to have more precious time that you don't normally, you know, have with your husband, that's good time together, then make sure that you're talking through these things, okay? I hope that helps. If you guys have questions, you can always email me at askchauntel@gmail.com. That is askchauntel. Also, I have a guide for you on how to attract a good man into your life, and also another one on how to be a great Christian wife. So if you like this video, then definitely check out the link in the description for something similar. And I love you guys so much. And if you haven't subscribed, don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Hugs and kisses. Thanks for watching.